In this lesson, you will learn how you can create toolbar buttons in ALM Octane using the external action editor. Let's first go into a module like defects module, and we would like to create additional buttons based on entity selection, which will appear then in the drop-down or in the context menu. In order to do so, we need to go to the wheel of settings, and under management section, you will find an entry for external action editor. In here, you can see an empty JSON file, which basically defines your customized button. You can see currently it's completely empty, means we have not created any button so far. You can load a demo for it, and let's do it. So when you load a demo, and just like that, as it is, you can save the demo just in order to show you the effect of it. Let's update it, and after updating, refresh your browser and check if the entry is still here. If the entry is here, you can go to the module. Let's see, so we have here entity type defect. Let's go to the defect module, select the defect, and open the selection. You can see here, now we have defect details, and if I do multi-selection, I think we have only this button, defect details, and if I click on it, it will call an external site, which should show something here, which is currently empty. So let's validate it and verify how this is working. So let's go back to the external action editor. And we can see here the JSON is defined here. This is one entry, means this is one button which is there. The name of the button is, or the title of the button is here, defect details dialog. I have another one which is for manual testing. So this is more on the test itself. And what I can do is I can now modify it. So let's modify the name of this. So let's say we could say here launch an external app, for instance. It is appearing here for the entity defect, which is fine. You could also say for what kind of views it should appear, in which views this selection or this button should appear. You can look for the icon. So for the icons, there is on the help page a complete documentation. So let's go here, help on this page, custom button. And if you scroll to the bottom, you will see there is a picture. And here you can find all the different icons. You can just say here, if you want to have import, it will appear with this icon. So let's go back and write import and see how it reflects here. So if we go here and say this should be import, let me cross check if it's import with small letters. Yeah, it is. So import, and here I can call a URL. Let's say we just go for HTTP, we just call google.ch, and we will pass some parameters. Yeah? And this is also important. We will see it, that this will display the entity IDs which I have selected, yeah? Entity type. So this could be test, defect, user story, and so on. You have the shared space, the workspace, user login, user email, and the Octane URL, and also the dialog ID where you are currently acting on. You can decide with single entity if this action appears on single entity only, so when only one entity is selected, or it should appear on multiple entities. For this, you need to say it should be false. Dialog can be exactly how it should open in Octane, with a larger, medium, or small size dialog, or if you just exclude it, it will delete it, it will open a new tab. Exclude workspaces is here exactly the number of workspaces which should not be showing this button. And the second button I can delete for now. We will work only with one button, and let's say update. And now we will see how this button is appearing. If I select here, I can see defect dialog. I need to refresh. It should call something like external app. Yeah, launch external app. And if I click on it, it should open Google. Exactly. And let me show you the URL. You can see here the URL is exactly contains the entity ID, which in this case was this one. Let me go back. Yeah, it's the entity type is work item. Defect is a work item. You see here the shared space ID, workspace ID, email address, and obtain URL. So all these parameters are passed through the call of your button, and you can take this into your external app and modify and work on it. So basically it will pass you all the parameters you need in order to manipulate this entity from the REST API and then use it for your external actions. So basically this is how you can create external actions using the external action editor. And here on the entity type, you define exactly what entity type it should be. Yeah? So it is currently a list. Let's add here one more, which is test. So now this should appear on test as well as on defect. So you can see it's now more structured. And if I go here to the issues again, it is appearing on the defect. If I go to quality, the same button will appear now on test as well as test suites, because these are also tests. So this is how easy you can create external actions with the correct icon you have selected.